Do you think in terms of the motion of softball pitching, in terms of we see a lot of arm injuries in baseball, Tommy John surgery, UCL tears a lot of the time. Do you think the motion of softball pitching with the double rotation, sometimes triple for some pitchers of your arm, the way it spins, do you think that is different in terms of helping lessen arm injuries? Do you think there's more as a result of that kind of motion, or do you think it's kind of the same?
Oh, it's definitely less. I mean, our pitchers can throw, honestly, 3 games in one day. Like, we would never do that. But in travel ball, there are some pitchers that are throwing 3 games in a day. It's a natural motion. You don't get as sore as throwing overhand. With baseball pitchers, they throw, one pitcher will throw on a Friday, and then they can't throw again until the next weekend, where our pitchers could throw back-to-back days. They can throw multiple games in a day. We kind of have them on a pitch count. We kind of know when we're throwing bullpens and things like that. We know when they get through a certain pitch count, we know when velocity starts going down and things kind of stop working. So we kind of base off that. In the dugout, we have somebody with a clicker, and every inning, we're asking what's their pitch count. But as far as being able to pitch and going, they can keep going until they're they usually tell us, hey, like, arm, I just don't have, it with it my fingers, because we're big on spin too, and that's how you move the ball. So, their fingers get sore, and the wrist gets sore and things like that. But it is a natural motion, very different than, baseball pitchers. So we only have usually 5, maybe 6 pitchers on staff.
Wow.
Where baseball has, 15 to 20. So, we only, usually in softball, if you watch the World Series, you only usually see 2 pitchers pitching, and those are your 2 horses, I will say back in the day, there was usually only 1 that threw every single game in the College World Series. Now, because the hitting has gotten so much, better and more powerful, you got to have a staff more than 1. So, but when they get down to the wire, I mean, Garcia, threw almost every game in the series. So
you said down to the wire, which that's the name of our show. So there you go.
It is. Look at that. I didn't even mean to do that.
We are talking to James Madison softball head coach, Loren LaPorte. And Loren, I want to give all the fans out there, we have had technical difficulties with our video feed, and a lot of people wanted to see this interview, but don't worry. After the show, we're going to cut out the audio, and we're going to put it all over social media so everybody can see and listen to this interview. If you can't see it, I'm sorry. I would apologize. But
totally fine. I know how technology is.
Oh my God, it's really because
it's not my friend either.
Well, you want to know something? It's all about right now. It's not just us. It's the technology throughout the country right now with what's going on. But we do have the audio, and we're going to make sure everybody hears this interview. So, Loren, I look at baseball, and I have been really upset at what's going on in the MLB. And I know you're a big baseball fan. You're a softball fan, so I'm sure you're a baseball fan. What were your thoughts when you heard about the Houston Astros, the cheating being brought into the game, and really hurting not only the sport, but really hurting the Houston Astros championship that they won in 2017, which right now is an asterisk on their winning and their championship. Do you think they got it right? Do you think the MLB got it right not suspending the players?
I think that kind of thing is tough, not really knowing, and some players are saying it happened, some didn't. I don't really know all of the ins and outs of the situation with the Astros. I think what's hard just as a coach, especially trying to teach these young players and doing the right thing, and winning the right way, and I think that's what hurts me most as a coach is just having to do things that aren't right, and winning. It can't feel right to the players if it did happen. But if I don't know if they had all the evidence, or whatnot. So I don't really have, I guess a big time decision on or opinion on if it was right or wrong. I just hate the fact as a coach where if it was being done the wrong way, it's just sad for our game, and it's sad when it's teaching the younger generation. And I remember watching that series. I mean, they were so much fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie, like they were just a fun team to watch. Their energy, But it is a shame that if it is, everything is true, that's what we're teaching these younger generations, that they have to go, and do those kind of things in order to win championships. I don't think it's teaching, our younger ones the right way.
Your team last season especially was a victim of playing in a regional that was actually in Los Angeles, which you had to play against UCLA. That's kind of a home field advantage for them kind of thing. Obviously, there's not going to be all of them in Los Angeles, but majority of them being UCLA fans. Now, a lot of other college sports don't have that structure. You might get one March Madness game here and there kind of thing. Hockey, the same way, football. They don't have that kind of thing. Do you think, are you in favor with that kind of thing, being the regionals right towards those top seeds or power teams like that, or do you think they should change it?
Well, it's funny you say that, because our regional was actually in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Our super regional was in UCLA. We felt that, I think we were, I want to say 13th or 14th. So we thought we were actually going to host the regional. Our girls thought, we hosted the year before or 2 years before. We actually hosted the super too. I think the top 15 teams deserve to host, but it all comes down to what the committee decides who the top 15 teams are. That's the issue. And a lot of times, obviously, mid-majors don't get a top 15 seed because our conference schedule, our RPI is a little bit lower. We were disappointed that we didn't get to host a regional. We knew we weren't high enough, because basically the top 15 host the regional and the top 8 host the super regional. So we were sent off earlier than what we thought. We went to Michigan, and we lost to them in the first round in 12 innings, 2-1. And then we had to turn around and play DePaul the next day. And then we had to beat them twice, Michigan twice, to advance. And, we ended up doing that. And I can tell you, Ann Arbor is not an easy place to play. I think they have their own alumni band that comes and plays in the stands. And we have never played in the stands where there's a band. But we got the job done, and then we went to, UCLA was ranked number 1. So the 15th seed, obviously that regional placed the 15th. So I honestly don't have a problem with the structure of it. I just think, the process of choosing who the top 15 can get a little dicey, but, I wasn't mad. I mean, honestly, going up to Michigan, it kind of fueled our players a little bit, and it made them hungry, and it made them wanting to prove that they were a top 15 team.
Before we let you go, the next person we're going to be interviewing is a guy you probably know from James Madison, the baseball assistant, head coach, and recruiting coordinator. You know who I'm talking about, Mr. Alex. Tell us a little bit about.
I know him well.
Tell us a little bit about him before we interview him. And so if you have any funny things that you want to attack him on, we can use it on that interview.
Well, what's funny is when I first got started, I coached at where Alex played at Radford University. So I was 22, 23 years old, and he was a couple years younger than me. So I think he was a sophomore or junior when I first started out. He was playing at the university I started at. So I've known Alex a very long time. And then he coached, I think he stayed at Radford for maybe 1 year after he graduated to coach, and then he went off and did his coaching, staying at some other places. And then when he got the JMU job, it was just kind of crazy because we knew each other back at when I first started. So I can tell you, he's very energetic. He's a player's coach. All his players, really like playing for him. There are many times, we share the same indoor facility. So there are many times when, we're on one side, they're on the other, and he's screaming and yelling in a good way, not bad. He's a jokester. So I'm just like, I can't tell if he's serious or not. Most of the time he's not. But he gets the kids going, gets the guys going. And he's fun to be around, that's for sure.
When the season begins, we'd love to get you back on. And if we ever do decide to go to Virginia, we would love to come down there and interview your players, interview you and your coaching staff. If you would invite us, we would absolutely love to come. We were just in Virginia, I would say about 8 months ago. We were working on the Long Island, what are they? Long Island
Elite Youth Football
over there in Richmond. And we were interviewing the kids and doing play-by-play, and we would love to come down there and meet and see your facility and meet some of your players.
That would be awesome. And, we come up to Hofstra every now and then. They're our big rivals, I can tell you that.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. They're in our conference. So we always had some battles with them, that's for sure. So, yeah, anytime you want to come down, love to have you.
Well, whenever you play Hofstra, we'll stay in touch. And whenever you play Hofstra, we would love to come down there at Hofstra, because I know I know over there. I actually I didn't go. Well, I went there for 2 weeks. I decided that it wasn't for me, but Hofstra's a beautiful school. They have a beautiful facility over there, so we would love to come in.
And they've done a lot with their program.
Absolutely,
they've always had a great program. So. Yep.
We would love to come and meet you guys and interview you guys. You look like a very, first of all, you what we've seen so far and what we've read about you, you're an up-and-coming coach, and what you do moving forward, I'm rooting for you and I'm rooting for your team.
Well, thank you so much. This was definitely a fun interview, for sure.
Absolutely. Tell the fans how they can find you on social media.
Yeah, we have our own JMU softball page on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're always, posting things that our kids are doing in our community. We're really big into community service. That's probably one of, I think we've won our JMU University Award the last 3 years. So it's something that we take a lot of pride in. So you'll always see our players doing things, especially right now. We have some players that are out and about, helping the communities out during this pandemic. But we put highlights up, we put alumni stuff up. So, yeah, check us out on that for sure.
Well, before we let you go, because obviously we are calling you on a phone number that we can't get in touch with you. We want to send you the interview throughout your social media so you can see it. How do we find you, and how do we give you your, what is your email so we can reach out to you and send you the interview?
Yeah, it's Messick, MESSICLR, @jmu.edu.
Did you get it, Speedy?
MESSICLR @jmu.edu. And they're all lowercase letters? All lowercase letters?
I got to JMU, all lowercase. I wasn't married, so it was Messick is my maiden name. And then I got married in 2013, so I just kept the same email. So it's all very confusing. They're like, what is Messick mean? But that's my maiden name.
Do you have a Twitter? Could we send it through your Twitter?
Yeah.
All right. How do we find you on Twitter?
It's Loren Messick as well.
There you go, Loren Messick. Thank you.
Let me get on there real quick. Me and my personal Twitter,
yes,
there's not much on there. I do, usually do everything with JMU softball. I usually don't do a lot with my personal.
Okay. We'll post it on your softball. We'll post it on your softball Twitter.
No, we will, for sure. We will.
Okay.
I'll Mackenzie to do that, my SID.
Well, we'll post it on your softball. We'll find the Twitter on what is it?
JMU softball. I tagged it already.
Oh, there you go. So we'll send you the interview, and we're looking forward to meeting you. And good luck on the new season.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Loren.
All right. Thank you.